We'll call the City Council meeting of August 4th, 2025 to order at 7 p.m. and ask the City Recorder to call the roll.
Council President Briggs.
Here.
Councilor Barrientos.
Here.
Councilor Blosser.
Here.
Councilor Fitzgerald.
Here.
Councilor Holzapfel.
Here.
Councilor Jantz. Here. Councilor Schilling.
Here.
Councilor Shane.
Here.
Councilor Spivey.
Here. Everyone's here. We have a quorum. Would everyone join me with the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. I'll have some introductions and recognitions. Hand it over to the City Manager for that.
Thank you. So we'll start with our Public Works employee introductions. Jennifer, are your employees here to introduce? They're not. All right. Well, then we won't start with that. We'll start with the Forestry Creek Trail recognition. So up on the TV screens, you're seeing a kind of a slideshow of new concrete walkways that were put in replacement of the Forestry Creek trails. So Forestry Creek is the little creek that goes underneath the Japanese Garden Bridge, as shown there in the photo on the screen. And it runs, from up around the Wyatt Node area all the way down and eventually connects in with Rickrell Creek in Dallas City Park. So we tore out and replaced these kind of windy paths that were asphalt and in various states of disrepair to connect the parking lot in the middle of City Park with the Japanese Garden, also connecting the trail on the south side of the creek to the parking next to the kitchen area, and then also they connect to each other around the parking lot area. So there was a lot of work that went into this from our engineering and design work, working to secure the contractors, and a lot of work from our parks crew to do work to help demolish the trail, prep everything, again, working with the contractors who poured the concrete. And so just in an effort to help recognize the good work that the city is doing, here we wanted to bring this project to you to let you know that it's now completed. People are accessing and using this trail. You'll see a few people walking on the trail in some of these photos. But it's just a wonderful thing. We were able to highlight it during the Dallas Days. Dallas Rotary Club participated in the demolition of the trail. So we had volunteer work and labor that went into this. I want to give special consideration and thoughts to a few of our staff members by name. Owen Barth, our Parks Maintenance Supervisor, put a lot of work and effort into this project. He is here tonight with his spouse. Also, Michael Pierce, our Support Services Supervisor, did just a heck of a job in coordinating and getting a lot of work with the contractors, the design, permitting put out there. Cooper Heiss with our Public Works crew put a lot of effort and work, again, working with contractors and others to make this happen. And that's just a few of the members I'll call out, but everyone on our city crews who were involved in this project just did a wonderful job. So with that, I have a couple certificates that I want to present, so I'll come up here and do that. We can all clap after that's done. All right, so if I can have Michael Pierce and Owen Barth join me up here. Both at the same time. So this is a certificate of appreciation just presented to the Public Works Support Services Division. So I'll give that to you. And this is a certificate of appreciation for the Parks Department. I'll give that to Owen. So this is Michael, this is Owen. Just want to give them a round of applause. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, that's all.
Brian?
All right. Okay, so now we'll go back to the first item, which is the Public Works employee introduction. So I'll invite our Public Works Director, Jennifer Ward, to come up and do that.
Hello, thank you. I do have we have two new employees that I do want to introduce you. One is on vacation this week, though, so we're going to wait until your next meeting for you to meet him. He'll keep you in suspense. But this evening, well, in fact, both of these employees are ones that you know already. Tonight, I want to recognize Michael Pierce. He has been with the city for many years working in our engineering division, which then became our support services division. That support services division has been without a supervisor, and I'm very proud to announce that he is our new support services supervisor. So please join me in congratulating him.
Excellent. That's all the recognitions and introductions we had tonight, Mayor.
All right, then we'll go ahead and move on to public comment. I have something I need to read before we start that. For the record, when you come up to testify, please provide us with your name and whether or not you live inside the city limits. You have up to 3 minutes. It is your turn to talk and ours to listen. You are responsible for the content, even if it was written by someone else. Please direct all comments to the mayor. Do not direct your comments to individual counselors, staff members, or the audience. Defamatory or libelous comments will not be accepted. It is expected that you will maintain decorum and respect for each other. A wide variety of viewers watch these proceedings. Therefore, we kindly ask that you refrain from the use of offensive language and name-calling. Distractions take attention from the speaker. The audience, city council members, and city staff are asked to focus on the speaker during their time by being respectfully quiet. The first person I will ask up is Warren Gookin.
So as Warren makes his way up, just for those that haven't testified before, this is our timer, so I'll turn it on after you start speaking. You have 3 minutes. At 1 minute, 2 minutes remaining, the green light comes on, 1 minute remaining, the yellow light comes on, and then the red light comes on when you're done. I'll hold this up when you have 30 seconds remaining. All right, thanks, Warren.
Warren Gookin, 1378 Southwest Alexander Drive, live over by Kingsborough Park. I've been in here numerous times before on various issues. The main issue I come in here is regarding 1353 Alexander Drive. I have talked to Brian Lott. I've been working with him for the last couple of years on this issue. I've worked with everybody in the codes department. They all know me by first name. That home out there, we had new streets put in. They bring in vehicles, they work on them, they drain your oil on the asphalt. We have big oil spots. It's going to dissolve the asphalt. Currently, they brought a pickup in a few months ago on a tow truck, dropped it off by the mailbox, left it there. It has not run. Came in here, talked to Mike. He pushed it back 1 car length, and it still sits there just like that. The other car across the street was in a wreck. It's been sitting there. It doesn't run, hasn't moved in 3 months. There's 2 women that run the home there or live there in the house. They have 1 car, 1 pickup, and 1 like a Suburban. It's in the driveway and on the side of the house. It's been there for over 2 years. They put a cover over the vehicles covers rotted, blew away. They finally put a tarp over it, that went away, and now they just continually pile junk around it. The gutters are falling off the house. They had sheds in the backyard. They tore down, threw it over the side of the fence. Could not get them to move it. Codes department didn't have the power, I guess, to tell them to move it. There's continual complaints about the dog poop in the backyard. The old head of codes department, she would call them up after we would complain, and she would say, well, we're coming out tomorrow around noon, 1 o'clock to make an inspection of your backyard. So about 4 of them would run out there, scoop the poop, and when the gals would show up, they'd say, well, we don't smell anything. Well, you can't even go in their neighbor's backyard because of the flies and the poop and the dogs. The dogs have come through the window, charged people. Sheriff's been out there, animal control's been out there, a lot of code issues. I wish somebody, and noise. They pull up with their cars, play the stereos loud. I've been in here about a noise ordinance. They said they don't have it. So I would like the city get a noise ordinance on that. They shouldn't be able to play at 10 o'clock at night. They pull up and flip me off in front of the house everywhere. So 1353 Alexander, drive by, take a look at it. I don't think you'd want it for a neighbor either. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Okay, next I have up is Ann Hurd.
Good evening, Mayor. I'm here from Friends of Dallas Aquatic Center, and we've been doing some pretty neat things. We have been given a night at Moonfall Theater, September 20th, 50 tickets at $20 each, which will net us $1,000 as a fundraiser, and we've sold all the tickets. One of the aquatics aerobic classes is coming, that's 12 people. We have 13 people coming from DRV in the bus, and the rest are people who just wanted to go. So we're really happy about that. August 1st, we sent out an email, an update email. We sent one out July 1st too, but things have happened and we need to let our people know. And this is what we sent out. In our last update, we reported on money raised and projects completed. We also mentioned there will be more needs at the pool, because there always are. This is a big one. All the ceiling lights in the natatorium need to be replaced. And if you've been there, whole light fixtures are just out. They're those old tube lights like they had in the schools, and they're failing all over the place, and there's no way you can fix them. So the present fixtures are 25 years old, failing with no replacements. The new fixtures and bulbs that'll be LED will last longer and adhere to the current code. The cost will be $10,000, and the work is scheduled for the first week of September. And then we say, by September 1st, we will have $10,000 in our trust account, so the light project is covered. We're very happy and grateful to our donors and business partners for their continued support. We will now need to build our resources again for whatever is next. If you feel able to make a donation to the pool fund, checks can be dropped off at the pool or mailed to our post office box or made through PayPal on our website. We will mail you a tax-deductible receipt for your donation, and your name will go on the donor board. Thank you very much. Ann Hurd, Nancy Wilson, Kay Graven, David Morelli, Jackie Evans, and Dean Sprague. Within 3 hours, we had a $250 donation through our PayPal account by a 90-year-old man who uses a pool and has donated to us before. So we're really happy about that. I got a $5,000 check here. That will complete the $10,000 that we need for the lights from the natatorium. And then we'll have another $1,000 coming in from the theater deal, and we will just continue. So thank you very much.
Man. Do we have anyone else wishing to testify tonight? Do we have anyone on the phone? All right, then I'll close public comment and move on to the consent agenda. We have 4 items on there: the approval of the July 7th council work session, the July 7th council meeting minutes, and the July 21st city council work session minutes, and the June 2024 financial report. Does anybody want to move anything off of the consent agenda tonight? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as listed.
To approve. Second.
Been moved by Councilor Schilling and seconded by David Shane, and a tie with Mr. Spivey. So,
Fortunately, it's one we don't have to break.
right. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously. All right. Move on to reports from the city manager and staff. We don't have any other. Oh, sorry. I don't want to mess that up. Comments from mayor or any other council members have any comments tonight? Councilor Shane.
Yeah, I would just like to, because we don't do it often enough, I'd just like to thank the Friends of the Aquatic Center for the incredibly fabulous work they do, plugging funding gaps and getting things done that would be difficult or delayed otherwise, that add to the real usability of a valuable community resource. You're here every meeting and telling us what the current status is, and I don't think we thank you often enough, so thank you.
Else? All right. Let's move on to report from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Slack. So I moved to myself over here because I have a video to kind of start this topic off. So coming up soon in our communities here in Polk County is going to be a traveling display. It's called The Wall That Heals. And I won't get too much into it because we have a guest speaker who will talk more about that. But there's some information in your packet, and I'll start with this video. Following that, I will invite Billy Weisenat, who is with us. He's a veteran and co-chair of the Wall That Heals Committee, and he'll talk a little bit more about what's going to happen. So I'll start with the video, and we did test the sound, so hopefully it still works. Excellent. So I'll now invite Billy, if you want to come up to the presenter desk here and give us a little bit more information about what's happening in the very near future.
Thank you all very much for allowing me to come and speak about the Wall That Heals. The Wall That Heals is a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. It's the only one that is 3/4 scale, and it is maintained by this organization, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, who are the same folks that maintain the memorial in Washington. It transports in a 53-foot trailer that converts into what's called a mobile education center, as you saw in the film. And they have 3 6-foot screens that convert to this, for this trailer, where they show Hometown Heroes, which is a listing that they maintain of Vietnam veterans who died from Polk County. They also have a screen for In Memory, which remembers the Vietnam veterans who died not in Vietnam, but as a result of exposure to toxins in Vietnam. This is a free to everyone. We're going to be escorting the wall in on September the 16th. Currently, our plan is to stage at the National Guard Armory in Salem and then travel this way, coming through Dallas, down Main Street, and then through the campus, and then through Monmouth, and then through Independence, and we'll be escorting it to where it'll be assembled in the Independence Sports Park. There were 140 applicants to host the wall for this year. We were one of 30 that were selected. This is the only stop that the Wall That Heals is going to make in the state of Oregon, and we're hopeful to reach to as many Vietnam veterans, their families, and community as we possibly can to give them this opportunity. I visited this wall twice, once in Tucson and more recently last year in Merced, California, where I met with the program director, Kathy Miller. Kathy's, their team are very dedicated in what they do. They've been doing this since 1986. And my thinking was, since Independence does have, we did some research, the first Vietnam Veterans Memorial in the state of Oregon and the first west of the Mississippi, that it would be a pretty good idea to have the Wall That Heals come here. That memorial was hand-built by 3 Vietnam veterans. I'm a resident of Independence, co-chair, as this gentleman mentioned, for the hosting committee. We have 22 members on our committee to include Vietnam veterans, combat veterans like myself. and other Vietnam-era veterans. We have retired educators on our committee, and everyone is working extremely diligently, I'll say, to make this a success for everybody. And on a personal note, and I don't want to take up your whole time, but just to let you know how the Wall That Heals does affect Vietnam veterans personally, I helped design the coin for our commemorative coin that we'll be giving to Vietnam veterans and members of our committee and other folks. And in the design, I was able to incorporate a screenshot of a friend of mine who died in Vietnam. I was there on the day he died. His name is Martin Millick, and I was able to get his name in this design centered above the VVMF logo. I was able to contact his family. I didn't know his family, but it was my hope to give the family the #1 coin. We have 100 coins ordered so that the family would have that coin. I called them. They were obviously skeptical of somebody calling for 57 years ago to honor their brother. Martin had 3 brothers and 4 sisters. But in communication with them here recently, I'm going to be going to Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, is where they live. I'll be going at the end of this month. Our coins are expected in the middle of this month. They've already been shipped. And when they call me back, they requested 7 coins. So I'll have that great opportunity. And I didn't realize this. I didn't cry the first 2 conversations I had with them, but after the phone call, I wept. And the joke I've been telling to kind of protect my masculinity was that Marines don't cry, we sweat through our eyes. So I've been telling people that I sweated profusely through my eyes after that. And that's the part that I want to stress to folks. This Wall That Heals does have that capability. Not everyone will experience the wonderful experience that I've had, but the opportunity is there for them to have that healing. And it gives Vietnam veterans an opportunity to get together and talk amongst themselves, whereas they might not talk to other folks because the stories that we have sometimes are not something you want to share with a lot of folks. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. It's a great organization, and I'm very honored and very thankful to be a part of this. So we'll be coming through Dallas on the 16th, and we'll start assembling the wall on the morning of the 17th. It'll be open 24 hours a day. We will have a welcome home opening ceremony on the 18th, and we're hopeful for a flyover. It's going to be limited speaking. It's apolitical. The whole purpose of this is to honor Vietnam veterans, their families, and their friends. And then we'll be closing up on the 21st of September.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? It's a wonderful thing you're doing. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me.
So just to kind of close out on that conversation, speaking with Police Chief Mott, I believe Dallas PD will help with the escort of that wall as it goes through the city of Dallas. Is that correct? Yeah. So we're looking forward to that.
You know about what time of day it's going to be coming through? Or is that too soon to ask that question?
I can give you an approximate time. We're going to have what they call kickstands up when we start the process coming this way. We're going to leave.
That'll be coming from Salem.
They'll be coming through Dallas. We're going to leave at 1 o'clock. So from Salem to here, 15, 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe 1:30 or so. And we'll have more details on that be happy to share with you.
Had a friend?
More specifics. It'll be an approximation, but it'll be probably pretty close.
I had a longtime friend who was there about that time, Force Recon. He was busy planting radios along the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Yeah, so as we gather more information, maybe some more specifics around the time and details on the route, we'll make sure that gets advertised throughout the community. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I apologize. The City of Independence does have a website that has all the information that I forgot.
Yeah.
On there. So, it also has a Facebook page called Independence and Wall That Heals 2025. So we're trying to reach out and just get the word out. This is what we're trying to do.
Yep, that's excellent. So we'll do our part to help with that. So,
Could we possibly put the link on our website,
yes.
an announcement?
Yeah, we'll make sure to
Very
get,
good
we'll make
idea.
sure to get the information out through our website and also through our social media. So our newsletter is going out on Friday this week for the month of August. We'll make sure to get it included in there as well. And also in September, since this will
Too
be in
late? Is
September.
it too late to get a mention of it in the podcast?
No. Well, maybe. We'll figure that out. We'll see how we can squeeze it in. All right, so that's the only written down item I have. I will mention just briefly, since I sent an email to the council earlier today, National Night Out is tomorrow night. Again, the city doesn't host their own event, but we do support the events that take place throughout the community. I sent 5 locations today. The Hazel Street location withdrew their party, so they're not going to have a party. So if you're going looking tomorrow, don't go to Hazel Street, because it won't happen. So you have to get your hot dogs and hamburgers somewhere else, like at Ann Hurd's house. All right. Yes. Hopefully you all memorize that address from the years that she's given that, so.
Half the proceeds go to friends, right?
All right, that's all my reports today, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Then we'll go on to first reading of ordinances. First ordinance we have is ordinance number 1910, amending Dallas City Code Section 2.905 relating to the membership of the Economic Development Commission.
Yep, so I can give just a brief report on this, since this is a topic that has not come before the full council. This was an item that was a recommendation from your Economic Development Commission. So the current commission is comprised of 7 members, and those are at-large members appointed by the council. And members or residency within the city is not a requirement for service on this commission. The commission really felt it was important to have our partner agency in Polk County to have a seat at the table on the commission, and that would be Polk County. Polk County does receive economic development funds and just sees them as a important strategic partner to have on that commission. And so we did have a county commissioner serving on the commission through last year. The commissioner did not reapply and was not obviously reappointed, but the commission still felt it was important to at least have that opportunity to have someone from the county, whether it was an elected official or an appointed member, an employee of Polk County, to serve on this commission. So they recommended appointment of an ex officio member. Ex officio simply meaning that we're soliciting a member from the Polk County organization to be a member of the Economic Development Commission. They also noted that this member would be a non-voting member, so that was their preference. So that's what this ordinance is. As the governing body over the city and responsible for municipal code adoption and language, you can do what you want with this recommendation, but we did prepare an ordinance so that you have the ability to have that go through tonight if you'd like.
So people are on the committee right now.
There are 7.
One was from Polk County, but he's no longer on there.
Correct. We did have one that served in the capacity but did not reapply this last year when the opportunity came.
Was he a voting member in that capacity?
Was, yes, because he was one of the original 7 members, and the 7 members currently all vote.
So they're wanting to reduce the amount of votes down to 6, voters down to 6?
No, they're adding a member. So instead of 7, you would have 8 members. The 8th member would be an ex officio member from Polk County organization, and that member would not vote.
Whose idea was it to not vote, the county's or ours?
It was the commission's recommendation to the council. Correct.
Have we reached out to the county, given them a heads up so they know that we're going down this path?
There was representation from the county at the Economic Development Commission where this topic was discussed, and so they have a heads up that this is coming before the council.
Has it been 7 members forever?
No, so this code was last amended, it was just a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, where we updated this code. And the commission before had a laundry list of appointees that we wanted. I think the commission had 15 plus members. And so we actually winnowed this down to a smaller commission with more defined responsibilities and duties. And so it was, I would say in the last 3 years that this commission has been made up of the 7 members.
Attended by all, a full attendance.
When it was 15 plus members, Oh, yeah, the 7 members are regularly in attendance. I can look at our Economic and Community Development Director to let me know if there's anything different than that. The meetings that I've attended, and I've attended a few within the last year, there's been full attendance.
It's been unanimous on most everything,
I
or
would say
contentious?
there's pretty good consensus on everything. Also remembering that they're an advisory committee, so they don't have, decision-making authority. Anything that they make a decision on is just a recommendation to the council. So
Asking that question is in order to get a good candidate from Polk County, and not having them just sit there and be a non-voting member doesn't make that much sense to me, where this is pretty much a consensus committee. So I don't have a problem with it being a voting member, but I'm not privy to their conversations that they had.
Along with that too, because, not least because the former county representative back in the day was a voting member. Nobody seemed to mind.
I would say there was not. I attended the meeting where this topic was brought up and voted on as a recommendation. There was no discussion about it being a non-voting member. That was just the motion that was made, and so that's the motion that we carried forward. I would say that it felt like the thought process behind that recommendation was they wanted to have an ex officio member, right, a dedicated county person here. And I think in their experience, ex officio members typically are non-voting. That's kind of common; those go hand in hand. But it's not required, right? An ex officio member can still vote. I think it was just ex officio. Oh yeah, and by the way, non-voting. And it didn't seem it was. There wasn't a lot of discussion or maybe intentionality behind it. And I don't think you would frustrate the commission if you had that person be a voting member. That would be my
That's why I
advice.
asked whether the impetus came from this side or from the other side of the street.
No. But I don't think there was, I don't think that if you took out the non-voting and had them be a voting member, that would frustrate the commission at all.
I think if someone's gonna, diligently, not just volunteer their time, but really show up, be involved, do some research, really attend all the meetings, answer questions, ask questions. I think at the very least, they should be able to vote. I do have a problem of someone just going just to warm a seat and just to show up.
Yeah, I think if the consensus among the council here is we could simply just strike the word non with the hyphen and have it read the second phrase of that sentence, one of whom shall be an ex officio voting member affiliated with Polk County government. And that would satisfy that.
I would support that, and not to run it into the ground, but I've served on serving on one now that has ex officio members, and not throwing stones at anyone, because the particular ex officio members that serve on the group I'm with now do a really good job, and they are diligent. But if you have a vote, if you know you're going to be voting, there's just a psychological tendency to pay more attention and be more engaged on the part of a lot of people. I definitely support that.
So unless anyone objects, I scratched it out on my paper version here. We can modify that before we bring this back for a second reading. Unless there's any objections, I think, Mayor, you can declare this to have passed its first reading if you like.
No objections. I will declare it to pass its first reading with the change. All right. First reading of ordinance 1911, removing references to permits for original art or on buildings.
So this is a bit of a cleanup ordinance. A few years ago, when we adopted a new sign code, we took out of the sign code, which is housed in the development code, murals and public art on buildings. And we instead put that language in the municipal code. The intention at the time was to not require a permit with the municipal code standards, but just to have standards that could be enforced if someone violated those provisions, right? So we do have standards for murals or original art on buildings in the municipal code, but we accidentally left a reference to a permit. And that was in, it's in the definitions where we said under the term original art mural and mural, the last line saying, having received approval of a permit as described in this chapter. So understanding that we didn't want to require a permit, we're proposing to remove that orphan language from the code. In addition, on section 5 under 8.920, we're proposing to remove or fail to comply with a mural agreement. Again, because there's no permit, there's no agreements. It's just you comply with the code provisions or you don't. In the event that someone doesn't comply, then we go through an enforcement action to make sure that their mural complies with, code requirements. Oftentimes, I shouldn't say oftentimes, when someone proposes a mural like someone recently did, our direction was to point them towards the code and to say, hey, here's the standards, make sure you comply with those. And they did, and the mural is now painted. So that's what this ordinance is about.
Questions or comments on this ordinance? Seeing none, I'll declare it to pass its first reading. No more first reading of ordinances. Looks like we have a resolution next. Resolution number 3554, adopting the City of Dallas policy for the approval and installation of memorials and public art in parks and public spaces.
Great. This is a resolution that just is going to adopt a policy. This policy has gone through the Public Administration Committee or Buildings and Grounds, I can't remember which one of those two. And then it was referred to the Parks Advisory Board, brought back to the Council Committee, and the Council Committee referred it with some revisions to the Council for your consideration. This is really referring and kind of setting a policy for if someone wants to put a memorial in one of our parks or on public property. There's now a policy and a procedure for what that would look like, the criteria for approval. Those memorials will require City Council approval, so you would see those. So if someone wants to propose, a statue or a structure or something in one of our parks as a memorial, we would work through that application process with them, make sure that all the criteria can be satisfied. We would then bring that to the council for your consent and approval of that memorial in the future. So that's what this policy is really geared to do. So, but we wanted to formalize it, and again, recommendation from the committee was to approve this as it was modified by the committee.
Any discussions on the resolution? Carlos.
One thing on criteria for approval, I know it has profanity, nudity, sexual themes, images, or languages related to gangs or hate groups. I'd like to see something there that says any image that contains offensive imagery of hate speech towards protected classes, something like that.
Yeah, so I think, the images or language related to gangs or hate groups, I think that would probably cover what you're after, right? I mean, a hate group, giving hate speech, a Nazi symbol, for example, right? It would be an example of one that we would fall under that group, the hate group. So I think that you're covered with what you're wanting there with that language.
It just doesn't mention protective classes, all protective classes. That's the only thing that I see.
So you wouldn't want to see something that, any hate speech against, whether it's a protected class or not, right, I think would be covered underneath that language. So, yeah,
I wouldn't want to limit it to just protected classes only.
Say that again.
Explicitly or by implication, limit it to just protected classes
That's
only.
totally changing what I said. I said to include protective classes.
Right,
Oh,
and-
okay, well then, yeah, then, fine.
Yeah, and I think,
Well, I would almost think that if you just included everyone, that you cover protected classes as well, right? So,
I think that's what the language currently would do, right? Images or language related to gangs or hate groups. And I think that would cover your protected classes. If you want, we can take this back and wordsmith it a little bit and bring it back to the next meeting if you want to see that language.
I just think that hate groups is just a little bit vague. It leaves an area open to, hey, I mean, it wasn't written down that I couldn't do this or that. I just want to make sure everyone who's in a protected class is.
I'm inclined to agree with that too, because what if somebody who isn't a member of an organized hate group wants to post something, nasty like
You
this?
also have to approve
I
it.
might just add that this is under the criteria for approval. So this is going to come, I believe this comes to the council for approval anyway. So we have the authority to approve or disapprove something anyway.
Yeah, it just says these things listed here are prohibited. Doesn't say we can't ban other things as well. There's nothing in there that says this is the only list, because you're right, every one of these has got to come before us for decision.
That was going to be my comment, is rather than saying that
You could say
these are
something
the
like
prohibited
hateful.
languages, could it be includes, but is not limited to?
Yeah, I think you
Something like that.
could, I mean, it says the following representations are prohibited. I think you could say, the following, representations, including but not limited, or maybe we can think about how to say that. But I think the point that Councilor Briggs was just making is a valid point, right? These are criteria, I think, instead of trying to wordsmith an exhaustive list of things that we want to make sure we prohibit, you ultimately will have the decision-making authority on every one of the memorials that will come before you. And, if it doesn't meet the test at the time that you're evaluating it, you just say no at that time. So, I mean, if you're fine with that, then I don't think we need to really modify this. If you do want to wordsmith it, I would recommend pulling this back. We can come back with a draft and you can kind of give us some guidance, so.
Are you comfortable with leaving it as is with the fact that the council has the ultimate authority of what gets put into place?
This doesn't
Yes,
bind
with the-
us.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
doesn't
the
bind
new
us.
information really kind of cinches it for me.
All right, so we'll go ahead and, if there's no other discussion on it, I'll have the city recorder take a roll call vote.
Counselor Shane,
Yes.
Counselor Spivey,
Yes.
Council President Briggs,
Yes.
Counselor Barrientos,
Yes.
Counselor Blosser,
Yes.
Counselor Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Counselor Holzapfel,
Yes.
Counselor Jantz,
Yes.
Counselor Schilling.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. All right. For those watching this meeting on YouTube, is there any other discussion before we move into executive session? Anyone have any questions or comments? All right, for those watching this meeting on YouTube, the video and audio will be muted during the executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session to take any action required, and we will welcome the audience back into the room. We will now recess the meeting of the City Council. On, I'm going to close executive session, reopen the regular council meeting, and we'll entertain a motion.
Move to authorize the city manager to negotiate the purchase of the property at 645 Southeast for Villa Road.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Shane and seconded by Counselor Spivey. I will take a roll call vote, or you could just, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously. If there's no other discussion, I will close the meeting.